Welcome to the exercise of the day. So this is your exercise to do for the next week. So we are going to do something called hip hitches, and it's targeting this area specifically over there, which is the sacroiliac joint, and also helps to strengthen the glutes. So especially if you've had sciatica or perhaps you've hurt your ankle, sometimes one side can get a little bit weak. Or maybe you've had a hip replacement and you haven't done much rehab on it because you've been quite protective. You've not done much strength training on that side. So this is what's going to help you. So have your feet, they're not going to be together, but like hip width apart, somewhere around there. Okay. There's lots of different positions you can do this in, but we'll just keep it as the basic one today. So from here, have your hands on your hips and we're standing nice and tall. So if you find your balance is a little bit wobbly, don't worry about that, because that wobbleosity is helping your postural muscles to strengthen, and you're still going to work your glutes. But if you find that you're going to fall and it's a health and safety risk, then just lean, have your other hand against something just to support you. Okay, but don't get too put off if you wobble. That's actually a good thing when you wobble. So have your eyes forward, and then from here, just bring your weight into the left leg. And you'll notice that when you come into the left leg, what you want to make sure of is that you're actually reaching out of the hip rather than letting your hip sink, pop out to the side. So you know how you carry a baby on the side? Not that I've had babies, but we don't want that hip to pop out, okay? So we really want to squeeze that bum in to reach out of this hip. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift the right hip up. Okay, so now if you were against a wall, this is all straight. And then bring that leg down, and we're going to change sides. Put all the weight into your right leg. Engage this bum so that the hip isn't popping out. So really squeeze your knee, almost like you're trying to push yourself off of the floor. And now you're going to engage this part to pull the hip up. And then bring it back down, and we're going to change sides. Okay, so like I said, this works with the sacroiliac joint at the back of the pelvis. So the sacroiliac joint is at the bottom of the spine, just above the coccyx. And it is a joint, like some people think the pelvis is one structure. That is a joint there, and it does, although it hasn't got much mobility, there is a tiny bit of mobility. So you might be feeling this somewhere along here. So as we lift and then come down, change sides, stabilize the leg, and then lift. Oh, so I've noticed like quite a sharp pain there, and I come onto this side, and I happen to know that there is an issue on this side of my back. So when you come up, notice, so what happens here is the muscles here have to stretch off there, and they're contracting on this side, and then when you change, they're stretching on this side and contracting on this side, and the bum's contracting there as well. Okay. So for me, I know that this is actually my right side is very tight, which is why there was that pain there. I say pain, a lot of discomfort. So now for me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to carry on the side that is not nice, and you can do the same thing. So if you haven't identified one side, maybe you're more wobbly, maybe it's only lifting halfway. Any odd thing that's happening on one side, stick to that side. I've got to figure this one out. So it is, oh yes. And then bring it down. These are called hip hitches. So the other thing you might notice, and I'm going to exaggerate it, is does something like that happen? Or I'm just trying to, something like that. Any combination of things can happen because your body's trying to compensate. So if you have got a wall or a door or cupboard, something to stand against, put your head and your shoulders against it and then move, and then notice then if there's any undue movement. So really good glute strengthening this, balance. And I can already feel just by doing those few that it's already started loosening off a little bit there. It feels quite nice. And I don't know if you noticed, I'm going to exaggerate. When I went onto this side, can you see the foot wants to kick forward slightly? So again, it's like, this is everything that Pilates is, being completely aware of everything. This is why it's so good to do Pilates in front of a mirror. It's like, what is your body doing? Because you can't always see. And then last one. And then relax down. So those are hip hitches. And so there's other positions we can do them in, but that's your homework for the week, or your exercise homework. I want you to enjoy this, not hate it. So this is your exercise for the week. Just while you're brushing your teeth, you could be doing this. While you're waiting for the kettle to boil, anything like that, where you can just squeeze it in. It only needs to be, you could do 10 on each side, find your tightest side and do another 10. Just something like that. Very simple, very quick. And you will notice, like I already felt, just those few, feels quite uncomfortable, but it does feel like it's had that little bit of a stretch. And that's all. So I'll see you in the next one soon. Take care.